Hello, listener. So here's the scene. You're on Whidbey Island and have decided to stop at a few of the island-grown cooperative farm, food, and trail locations. Driving just north of Clinton, hang a left on Cultus Bay Road to go to Glendale Shepherd, a beautiful property in the woods above the Admiralty Inlet facing Mukilteo. At the heart of these sheep lovers are Lynn and Stan Swanson, the kind of people who somehow make running a grade A dairy, producing world-class cheese and yogurt, raising sheep, and practicing sustainable agriculture look easy. It's not, but they make it look like it is, I'm sure. This is a working family farm rooted in deep care for the land, the animals, and the people they feed. Their lineup: Artisan sheep, milk cheeses, pasture-raised lamb, and a yogurt that could convert the most loyal Greek yogurt diehard. And if you're thinking, wait, that sounds like a full-blown culinary trifecta, you would be correct. By the way, don't drop off too early because there is a fourth product that is the first in Washington. Today on Local Whidbey, we talked to Lynn about how Glendale Shepherd came to life, what it means to steward a truly sustainable farm, and how choosing the slower, more intentional path led them to international cheese awards and a devoted community right here on Whidbey Island, and in Seattle, by the way. I'm Magsy, and this is Local Whidbey, where we get to meet the makers who prove that integrity, taste, and a little bit of island magic can go a long, long way. Let's talk to Lynn on the farm. Hey, Lynn. Thank you for having me out for your most beautiful place.
Well, thanks for coming out.
I know you're really busy, and you really had to make time for me because what time do you get up in the morning?
Usually 4 or 5.
Wow. And then you're in bed by 7 or 8?
Usually.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it. Listener, she just has a beautiful place looking is this the Saratoga Passage through here? Is this what this is?
No, that's more around by...
That's what I look at.
Yeah. This is looking across Admiralty Inlet, I believe.
Admiralty Inlet?
So possession points to the south.
So I'm looking at Mukilteo.
You're looking at Mukilteo, yeah, exactly.
Okay. Great. So the first question I really wanted to ask you is, what is it that you love so much about sheep and making grade A products from these sheep?
Well, I really loved the animal husbandry side of life my entire life. There were many members of my family that milked cows. I just really do love raising animals. So the sheep are a good fit for this particular rolly, hilly land.
Okay.
I've had sheep ever since I was in my 20s. There was a period where I didn't have them, but most of my life I've had sheep, but I was more focused on the textile side, the wool. So dual purpose sheep for meat and wool. We switched to the dairy sheep starting in about 2008. And they are a lot easier to work with. They've been domesticated for hundreds, if not 1,000 years.
Dairy sheep
be handled a lot more than the type of sheep that you deal with every now and then. Like the meat sheep, people don't go out and handle them twice a day like the dairy.
Okay.
So they're really nice to work with. The milk is delicious, and I'm really fascinated by the genetic side of breeding animals. I work with Dairy Sheep Association on their board of directors and in the genetic evaluation program. So that's part of what I really love about
what you really enjoy
really raising excellent animals.
So what was it like when you first started? Because you've been doing 40 years? Did you say?
No.
2008.
Got the dairy, a couple of dairy sheep, and realized how much easier they were to milk than, because I'd already started dabbling with milking my. I was raising CVMs for fiber. That's the California variegated mutant.
Okay, I'm glad you said that. I was going to have to ask you what CVM
it's a very
was.
Funny. Yeah, they have all kinds of fun colors. Yeah. That's why I thought that was.
So when you got started in 2008, what was it like when you first started building it?
Well, first my son was interested. He went and did internships at farm stay at Brad Gregory's, the Black Sheep Creamery in Chehalis.
Okay.
And he came home with a few dairy sheep. So
okay,
we were like,
instead of bringing home a puppy, he brought home a lamb.
Yeah, and it was amazing because the earlier sheep we had really did not want to be handled. They would kick your wrists black and blue trying to milk them. And as soon as you took their lambs away, they'd dry off. The dairy sheep, they are milk machines. They're kind of like, it's like the difference between a steer and a nice Holstein dairy animal. Anyway, they're very nice animals. And then we later started importing genetics from Europe, and that really improved the breed.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is all new to me. I really know nothing about the sheep industry and all the things. And just you showing me around your property and showing me different things you guys are doing, I'm like, I had no idea. And in researching you, I read some things. I don't go in depth to every article because I really want it to be fresh when I talk to guests instead of me reiterating other articles that people have written about you. So one of the things that I did see, though, is that you guys have a commitment to sustainability. And so what does that look like in practice from day to day?
Sustainability, to me, it really means, are you creating something that can stand on its own, that it's sustainable, that you're not taking more than you're giving in any way, whether that's resources or taking from the land or taking commodities out of service that could be used. Are you paying your own way? Are you able to pass this on to the future? Are you setting up a model that's, I don't know, that can be
the model you've put in place is
yeah.
sustainable, and it's something you work at in practice day to day.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that explains it very well. So many people talking about knowing where your food comes from. How does that work embody that idea? How does your work embody that idea?
Really, for me, we're a small scale farm, and everything I produce gets sold directly to my customers, mainly at farmers markets or right from our farm, our little farm store here. And that allows me to really hear from our customers and know what they enjoy. And I get to enjoy their joy.
Right, being excited about it.
And there are a number of people that really can't tolerate the cow proteins. And so sheep milk products fill a niche there where things people that can't have other dairy can do well with sheep. That's really nice to know.
Yeah.
So I just enjoy that. I like being at the markets. That's my favorite part of the week, really. I like work all week producing and packaging and then go and see my customers.
Well, you guys are in a lot of farmers markets, though. So
we're in a few,
to hire. Yeah. Aren't you in some in Seattle, though?
Yeah, mainly Seattle. Yeah. I have employees that we do 2 on Saturday and we do 3 on Sunday in Seattle, and then we do our Bayview market here on Whidbey Island.
Right, that's where I picked up your products.
So there's 6 during the summer, and then 4 in Seattle that go year round.
Okay, all right. So talking about your products, so you produce sheep milk, cheese, yogurt, and pasture-raised lamb, all 3 of those things. What do you think surprises people the most when they try any of your products? Do you get feedback on that?
I think one of the more common things we hear is that they're relieved that it doesn't taste like goat milk. I hate to say that. I'm sorry, goat milk people. I mean, some people just don't care for the pungency of goat, and sheep is a really sweet milk. So it has its own flavor profiles, but it's definitely, its own thing. It's not cow, it's not goat, it's sheep.
Well, I'll tell you, and this might be TMI for the listener, what I like about your yogurt. I don't typically eat milk yogurt. I'm more of a Greek person so that it won't upset my stomach because I'm lactose intolerant. And I have had your yogurt and it doesn't do that to me. So it must be because it's lamb. There's something else in it with the cultures that settles my stomach.
There's a couple things that it has going for it. The sheep milk is naturally it doesn't have the long chain fatty acids as much as like cow, and so short chain fatty acids seem to be easier for humans to digest.
Yes, must be.
The culture I use is an old-fashioned Bulgarian mix that's really probiotic. So that's a good thing. That gives you good probiotics in your gut. And the other thing is it's cultured a long time, so the ferment takes a long time, and that digests the lactose. So
because it absolutely does not upset my stomach.
So because there's really lactose in every kind of milk, it's just those are the sugars.
Yeah,
the cultures will break those down in the fermentation. So those are all good things that can make it easier for people to digest.
So let's talk about your cheese. So what makes sheep cheese different than, say, a cow or a goat cheese, flavor-wise, and you just were talking about nutritionally?
I'm not sure how to describe it exactly. If you tasted the milks, let's say you had a cold glass of fresh cow, fresh sheep, and fresh goat, you could take it and follow that flavor right through each cheese, a soft fresh cheese, a soft ripened, a long aged cheese. And you'll find that thread. Everyone knows how cow's milk tastes.
Yeah.
Most people have had goat and know how a goat cheese tastes. You can follow that right through the aging process. With sheep, you get a bit more of a buttery quality, and it's sweet. I hear people will try the milk and describe it as melted ice cream. But it definitely has a sweetness to it. It is definitely a higher butter fat, and it has that melted ice cream kind of a quality. So that kind of follows through with the cheese. You get a buttery mouthfeel. By the time you get a really long-aged cheese, you're getting that nuttiness that's classic of sheep milk cheeses. A kind of a nuttiness, and there's some type of a base note with sheep milk too that I don't even know how to describe. But it's kind of, sometimes it can be herbaceous or floral, and nutty. Definitely nuttiness is in there. And it really depends on the tree. There are many different cultures. There's different ripening mixes. There's all kinds of flavor things that can happen depending on how you've handled the milk right from the beginning. And my milk is particularly sweet because I think it's really handled well. I test my sheep all the time, every month. Every sheep has milk samples sent to the lab. I know the quality of the milk. It's used really, really fresh, which makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
But, I can tell the difference.
Yeah.
And I want it to be really excellent. So I can do that because I have a small flock and I'm using nothing but my own milk.
Let's pause for a moment and take time for information about sponsoring Local Whidbey Podcast. Season 1 launched with a bang. I started with just over 2,000 unique listeners in my very first month, and it just kept growing. Over the course of the season, more than 9,000 people tuned in to hear real conversations with artists, entrepreneurs, farmers, musicians, nonprofit leaders, and everyday locals doing extraordinary things. And since the last week in January 2025, the website withmagsy.com pages have been opened more than 226,000 times. And get this, even during our summer hiatus, the podcast continued to draw new ears. And get this, even during our summer hiatus, the podcast continued to draw new ears. We averaged over 1,500 unique listeners each month without releasing a single new episode. I guess once a Whidbey Island fan, always a Whidbey Island fan. So now with season 2 in full swing, I've got one more exciting update. I'm officially opening the podcast up to sponsorships. If you're a local business or creative venture looking to connect with an audience that already loves Whidbey Island as much as you do, there's a shiny new sponsorship page on withmagsy.com. You'll find it under the podcast tab. Go take a peek. I must confess, I'm not a fan of loads of ads that go on forever in podcasts. So as not to be a hypocrite, I'm looking for businesses who want to get a message out that is helpful and interesting with my guidance and works well with this podcast. After much thought and being a communication strategist for over 25 years, I'm looking for sponsors who help the community thrive and can give me an ad content that is highly trackable because it strikes a chord or is highly helpful. Whether you've listened from the start or you're just now discovering this island storytelling series, I'm so glad you're here. If you're interested and want to have a chat, again, check out sponsorships under the podcast tab at withmagsy.com. Now, let's get back to the interview.
With that, before I move on to talking about raising sheep to eat, let's talk about some of the byproducts from making cheese and getting milk. And you were telling me about not curd, what was it? That makes the gin. Whey.
Yes. When you make cheese, you add cultures and you add an enzyme which turns it to a curd.
Okay.
You cut the curd.
Right.
And then the whey begins to drain out.
Okay.
And you get a lot of whey.
Right.
Over a year. There's really hundreds and maybe even thousands of gallons of whey.
And drum roll, listeners, what she's about to tell you she makes with the whey.
So we figured out and kind of cracked the code on how you can ferment that whey and then distill that ferment into vodka and gin.
Yes, that's exciting.
Yeah, it took us a year
Yeah.
with all the special permitting.
Right.
But we sold our first bottle of vodka on August 1st.
Wow.
Yeah, so this is a brand new adventure. It's really also sweet because I think, you know, you can taste that hint of milk, caramel, almost a caramel. It's sweet smelling, has a sweet taste.
I'm very curious because I'm not a vodka drinker. I don't really like it, but when you describe it, it sounds different than the typical vodka. But
it's a little different.
I do like gin. So what does the gin taste like?
That just really depends on the botanicals, which ones you choose.
Right.
And I have not landed on my favorite yet. So that one is in the pipeline. I haven't bottled gin yet because there's so many directions you can go with the gin. I want to really narrow it down a little further.
Well, talking about gin and botanicals, I used to hate gin because I just thought it tasted like a spruce tree.
Oh.
Like, want to just
choose some
leaf. Yes, I hated it. And then I had some really good gin that had a lot of botanicals instead, and I do like that.
Yeah, it can go many directions.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay, so let's talk about your cute little sheep as food. You were just saying that they're harder to deal with when they're just being raised to eat?
Well, only because they don't get handled all the time.
Okay.
That's all. That's what I meant by that. I raised meat sheep for years and used their wool. And when it was shearing day, it was a big project a week ahead to get them all caught. You know, and you needed dogs. And, because they were smart. They didn't. But the dairy sheep, boy, you don't need a dog. They know their job. They're coming in twice a day to be milked, and they're just very docile sheep because of all the handling.
It's like calling a dog to come eat.
Exactly. Yeah. So any dairy, whether it's cow, buffalo, sheep, goat, whatever, you have to breed and produce the offspring in order for the sheep to lactate. So every year these sheep are bred. I have rotating groups that 3 times a year we have breeding groups. So I have milk supply all year. But where there's milk, there's meat. Right. And that is the reality of running a dairy. So we choose our very best offspring to be replacements for the dairy flock because there's every year a few age out and you don't want to breed them again at a certain age. And then also same with the rams, you know, you have to have new rams from time to time so you don't inbreed. And so after we've chosen our very best, we sell some livestock to other dairies occasionally who need different bloodlines or better milkers. And then we raise the rest of the lambs ourselves because I just don't feel good about sending them off to not be raised well by someone else. So we raise them ourselves, and then we use we're members of Island Grown Farmers Cooperative, which is just a wonderful meat co-op, and that's who we use. They do the best job of any butcher I've ever used, and I've used a lot of different ones over many years. So I'm really happy with their services. We are able to sell USDA cuts at our markets that we go to, our farmers markets, and sausages and all the nice things.
Yeah, I particularly love lamb. In fact, I think I like it better than chicken. And I think maybe it's because when I moved here to the island, I've had quite a few places where you buy fresh. You guys, it's fresh. It has been nowhere else. And I think it's very good lamb that's raised here. What do you wish more people understood about small-scale agriculture and artisan food production?
I think at least the people that I come into contact with at farmers markets are pretty educated about what it takes to produce food. I wish there were more of them. I wish more people understood the cost and how hard farmers work. And there's no guarantees with farming.
No.
You don't know what the climate's going to hand you. You don't know if the things you need, your supplies are going to go up, which they do all the time. But I find a lot of my customers really do enjoy knowing they're farmers.
So at the farmers market, you don't get a lot of people asking you why it's expensive?
Not a lot. Here and there you do.
Yeah.
And you know that it is expensive, but I can't just do it for free. I'm trying to cover my costs and pay the bills and pay my staff well.
Yeah.
I definitely feel farmers should make a living, not just,
Yeah. So you were saying earlier how much you like the farmers markets.
yeah.
So what do you get out of working and talking directly to your customers opposed to just putting it in a grocery store and, not meeting those people?
There's several things you get at being part of big farmers markets associations. You get to know other farmers.
Yeah, that's
You're
good.
not the only crazy person in the room. That's what I like that a lot. The market associations are really supportive of the farmers and work hard to help you get your product out there and get a fair price for it.
Yeah.
I do get a lot of inquiries about selling wholesale, but I've worked the numbers every way I can, and we don't make enough product. First of all, everything I sell goes right out the door and gets sold at the market. So,
Right.
Yeah, I think you have to be really, really, really large scale and be able to cut costs enough to do wholesale. I don't find myself in that position.
Yeah. Well, and they want a specific amount from you to be wholesale, and you'd have to have a ton in order for you to make money as well.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's for the big boys.
So looking ahead, what's next for Glendale Shepherd? I know you've mentioned the gin that you're working on, and you're super proud of your vodka. Are there anything else, other things in the pipeline or new dreams?
I continue to work on our genetic production, the improvement of my flock and their production. That's probably the most exciting thing for us.
Okay.
We send all of our milking data, the metering once a month. We send that all up to Genovis, which is in Quebec. It's a Canadian national program that evaluates the production performance of dairy sheep. It's in Canada because we don't have anything like that here in the United States.
Oh,
but they help the Dairy Sheep Association out by allowing Americans to be members. So we get that information back that gives us EBVs, estimated breeding values for each animal, and just a huge amount of data that we can use to evaluate performance and then breed for better animals. I really have tripled and quadrupled in some cases the production of each animal.
Well,
So
I'm really
that's
impressed
exciting.
because I'm a data person that you're diving deep into data in order to improve your product and your that's mostly not a dream of someone, but that's a good dream to have when you can take that data and know that you're making good decisions
Right.
for your product and for your sheep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. We have a veterinarian that is just available to us for all kinds of decisions, health decisions, feed. She's designed our feeding program. It's really, really nice. It's nice to have all that advice right there at your fingertips. We're using a new data management program called UManage, and that we're able to print out all of our pedigrees. We can plug in the ewes and the rams and find our best breeding matchups rather than just pouring through notebooks and papers like I used to do. We have it all on a computer program now. That is super helpful.
Thinking back, I was telling you that your whole property reminded me of the book Heidi, where her grandfather had the cabin on the hill and she was out with the sheep all the time. But I was thinking about that in your place, and they didn't have data
right
no during those days. So how nice is that to have those kind of things now?
Yeah, it is
actual science.
Yeah, I love it. It's very exciting.
Yeah,
a lot of fun.
So one of the things I like to do with my guests, just to make it fun, so don't be nervous, and even if you have to pause to think about it, it's okay. But I like to do some fun rapid fire questions.
Okay.
Okay. So
and I'm not fast at that. So
well, you don't have to be fast, but but because that's what editing software is for.
Okay.
I can, if you have to think a while, it's okay. They don't know it.
Oh, I see. Because I'm like, I think slowly. I speak after I've thought it through.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine.
Yeah, okay.
It's just, they're just called rapid fire. Okay, because they're short answers.
I don't talk that much, do I? I mean, in my normal life,
do you talk to your sheep?
Oh, yeah, of course. The babies especially. But yeah, we talk to our sheep a lot.
So cute. All right, so morning milking or sunset pasture walks? Which one do you like better?
Morning milking.
Morning milking.
Yeah, we get the sunrise.
That's right,
yeah,
you do.
It comes right into the barn. It's beautiful.
Yes, I face the east and I get beautiful sunrises too. And someone the other day showed me a picture. I go, oh, was that sunrise? They go, no, it's sunset. I go, but that's what my sunrises look like, especially in the fall. That orange look that you get when it's coming up. It's just beautiful. All right, here's another one. Hard cheese, soft cheese, or yogurt every day of your life. If you could only pick one, what would it be?
Oh, the yogurt. Such a staple.
Mm-hmm.
All the cheeses, they're little treats, but the yogurt, it's good for you to have a little probiotic every day, even if it's just a tiny bit.
Yeah.
I think it's more of a staple.
So, lamb tacos or lamb stew? Which would you prefer?
I like the stew.
Lamb stew.
In the winter.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. The sheep are out. Who's catching them first, you or the dog?
Does
the dog really catch them, or
not
herds
really?
it?
Not the dog I have now. My old border collies were amazing. They could round up sheep like crazy. No, these guys, you open the gate and they'll come in. They don't get
they're
out
so
much.
docile. Yeah. They're like pets. Okay, so what's one piece of equipment on the farm you could not live without?
Generator. The power's out.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah. Try to milk.
Talking about all the things
to milk 60
farmers
sheep
go
by
through.
hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Getting your electricity turned off. Wow.
Right.
So, favorite season on the farm?
Fall. I
Fall.
like the fall.
Me too. I don't know about on your farm, but just in general, me too. If your sheep had theme music, what would it be?
I have no idea.
Well, in our past conversation about what's a podcast, you probably don't listen to music when you're out working either, do you?
Sometimes in the creamery, I'll put on some kind of playlist.
Okay. Well, what kind of music do you like? What's on your playlist, sister?
I haven't listened to it in so long, I forget. There'd always have to be a blend of some kind of 60s and 70s stuff,
Yeah.
There'd be a little Joni Mitchell, a little Beatles, maybe a little bit of David Bowie. Let's have some Stevie Wonder. But the sheep, I don't know.
They just listen to what you listen to.
Yeah. So I hear all kinds of things when I check in on various milkers. You can hear a lot, but they say classical music for sheep is a good thing.
Okay.
I don't really know if that's been proven.
Well, I think it's good for almost all farm animals, because things I've seen on the internet where they do that, where they have live classical music being played around a cow. They come over there and they try to put their big old head on the person who's playing it, like they're a dog or something.
Although in my family's milk barns, in the parlors, there was always country music playing. And I would sneak in as a teenager and try to switch it back to KJR or something, and dating myself. Yeah. That was the rock station when I was
the
a
rock
kid.
station.
And I would be scolded that the cows only give milk to country,
They don't like rock. It makes them have anxiety. So, what's the most unexpected visitor you've ever had here on your farm?
I don't know.
If it hasn't been an unexpected animal, it could be a person. Because you're pretty far off the road.
Yeah, I can't think of anything. I mean, I'm sure we have unexpected visitors all the time, but
you don't have cameras.
Cameras? I have cameras in my lambing barn to watch the ewes all night long when we're lambing. But
people would have to be. I mean, I can't see people coming all the way out here from the road if they're not invited.
Occasionally we have something, but I can't really come up with anything for that one.
Okay, so big city farmers market or a quiet island day. What's your speed?
Well, I like both. I don't know.
I'm glad that you have all year farmers markets that you're able to take your product to.
Me too. Because first of all, when we used to milk seasonally, which means I would breed all the ewes at once, lamb all the ewes at once, and then only have milk for 7 or 8 months, and then you just disappear off the scene.
Yeah.
That doesn't work.
Yeah.
You lose your employees, you lose your customers.
Yeah.
I needed to figure out a way to go to year round.
Right.
That's much better for us.
So have you ever thought at any time in all the years you've been doing this, what's the motto for Glendale Shepherd? Or is it just
a motto?
Work hard, play hard?
They did the best they could.
I know. Yeah, they did the best they could. I like that one. Well, you're doing a great job. You have a really good product. Thanks so much, Lynn. I really appreciate it. I've had fun. I hope you didn't have too many nerves. You didn't seem like you did, but I really do appreciate it.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thank you for having me.